going to try.
Try, yeah. Okay, with permission of the rabbis here from Israel and our local rabbis too. I'm going to try to resolve, it's a very long parsha this week, Behar and Bechukotai, and the first question is why is the Jubilee there in this whole concept of the 50th year? So the things I want to resolve are today's Lag BaOmer, and you had 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva died. You have in Behar, you have the idea that the land has Shmita and lead to the 50th year. And then surprisingly in Bechukotai, there are 49 verses that are in the story of the curses that will happen if you don't follow what will happen to you. Not very good stuff. So I heard a joke many years ago. The comedian says, why is divorce so high? And he says, well, when marriage was invented, you only lived till about 50 years old. And so 50 it's a number that represents in a certain way a cycle of life. And so the idea of the Jubilee year of Yovel was a cycle of 7. So every 7th year, you had to let the land lie fallow. You had to do this 7 times, which is theoretically it's a cycle in itself. And at the 50th year, you witness this notion of Yovel, where the slaves are freed, the debts are canceled, and it's a reset. But remember that Shabbat, which we talked about in the last few weeks, was also the first thing that has this term Kedusha applied to it. When God creates the world, the 7th day, it's sanctified. We'll use that word for the moment. And we have to remember when we celebrate Shabbat that God created the world. And that's why the baby's not circumcised till the 8th day, because he has to go through a Shabbat. And we have to see that happen. So we know that we're testifying God created. But the other side of Shabbat is also about being freed from slavery and taken out of Mitzrayim. That's why in this week's Parsha, one of the biggest psukim which you'll just overlook is Ani Hashem Elokeichem. You already know that many, many times. Asher Otzeiti Echem Eretz Mitzrayim L'Tei Lechem Et Eretz Canaan V'Al Lechem Elohim. I've given you the land in order to be your God. Right? And that it's a relationship. That's the idea. So we're in the book of Vayikra. We're going to end it next week. And the theme of the entire book, which we learned about yesterday in a bunch of classes, even on Friday night, is Kedusha. And what does Kedusha mean? So I came up with a little acronym for it. Not an acronym, an explanation of the acronym, which is, it says Kedoshim Tihiyu. That's like the big Parsha, which is at the midpoint, starting the second half of the Torah. And so what is Kedoshim? And this is, maybe we'll explain what the students could have done to avoid dying in the 24,000 students that, and you can only give this to our Torah today. So the Kuf is Kihila. So Kedoshim is given as a command in the plural because it's not just about you, it's about you as part of a community. So you always have to be conscious of community. The Daled is not in the Torah but Devekus, which is a clinging to God in a way, but you could think of it as in personal integrity, in intensity, in everything that you do with intention is Devekus. All because you're trying to elevate yourself within this relationship with God. The Shin is Shabbat. None of this works if you don't have Shabbat in your life, which is, of course, what the singer, who passed away, whatever. I spoke about him before. I don't know. Karlbach. Shabbat was his thing. That was the gift to humanity with Shabbat. But Shabbat means all your time counts. You have the Yud, which is Hashem. None of this works as well without Hashem. And the last one is Makom for the Mem, Kedoshim, right, is that everywhere you are, God is with you, and the opportunity for you to be connected to Him exists. So you always have to take that opportunity when you can. And with that, let's celebrate with the parade outside with our community and have a great Lag BaOmer.